Eureka, Grade 2, Module 3, Lesson 21. Complete a pattern counting up and down. Today, you're going to need your whiteboard, marker, and eraser. Before we begin, go ahead and press pause. Get these items, and then return and press play. Almost have it! Almost! Oh, hi there! I was just finishing my decorations for our big Thanksgiving feast. I can't believe it's almost Thanksgiving. Are you so excited? I am. You may have noticed that I created this banner myself using a pattern. I started with blue, then orange, blue, orange, blue pumpkin, blue, orange. My pattern repeats. I love patterns. Do you like patterns? Me too. Did you know there's even number patterns? Patterns in math. A number pattern is when you see a sequence in a series of numbers. It means that there's a relationship between each of the numbers that are listed. Let's take a closer look at some number patterns today. I have 272 represented with my place value discs, 2 groups of 100, 7 tens, and 2 ones. I'm going to add one 100 place value disc. Now the number represented is, that's right, 372. Let's keep adding hundreds place value discs and see what happens to our numbers. Here's another hundreds place value disc. Now I have 4 groups of 100, 7 tens, and 2 ones. 472. Let's add another hundreds place value disc. How many hundreds do I have now? 5. And I still have 7 tens and 2 ones. I have 572. Let's keep going. Another 100? Now, what's my new number? If you said 672, you're correct. Let's add another 100. Now I have 7 hundreds, 7 tens, and 2 ones. 772. I can see a pattern with our numbers. I started with 272. I didn't add any additional tens or ones. You'll notice that 72 remained the same through all of our numbers. They're still in black. The number that did change was the number representing the hundreds place value. We went from 2 groups of 100 to 3 groups of 100, 4 groups of 100, 5 groups of 100, 6 groups of 100, 7 groups of 100, and I bet you can even guess which number would come next. If we were to continue this pattern, what number would come after 772? That's right, 872. The number pattern we're working with is increasing by 100. 272, 372, 472, 572, 672, 772. Our number was increasing by 100 each time. That was our pattern. Let's take a look at another one. Here I have represented the number 780. 7 groups of 100, 8 tens, and no additional ones. I want you to watch closely as I take away a 10 place value disc. Don't blink. Watch closely. Gone. Now what number have I represented in my place value chart? I have 7 hundreds and 7 tens. That's right, it's the number 770. Let's try taking away some more of our 10 place value discs. Watch closely, it's going to disappear. Gone. Now I have 7 groups of 100 and 6 tens. 760. Let's take away another tens place value disc. 7 tens, 7 hundreds, and 5 tens is 750. We can keep up this pattern. Let's take away some more 10 place value discs. Watch closely. Another one is gone. I have 7 hundreds and 4 tens. 740. Let's remove one more 10 place value disc. Now I still have 7 groups of 100, but only 3 tens. 730. Let's take a closer look at the number pattern we've created. I didn't change my groups of hundreds. I kept them at 7. There were 7 100 place value discs the entire time. You can see 7 in the hundreds place value did not change. I didn't add any ones either, nor did I take any away. So that place value remained at 0. What did change was the tens place value. We removed 10 each time. You'll notice the number in the tens place value spot is decreasing by 1 number each time. That's because we removed one group of 10. We went from 780 to 770 to 760 to 750 to 740 to 730. I bet you might know what number would come next in this number pattern. If you said 720, you're correct. We would take away another group of 10 and we would have 720. You're doing a great job recognizing number patterns. Now it's your turn. Grab your whiteboard and your marker. If you need to press pause, you can, and then press play when you're ready. Let's look at the sequence of numbers that I have on the screen. 691, 681, 671, and then there are some blank spaces, 641, 631. We're going to try to identify the pattern and fill in the missing numbers. When looking for the pattern, we can try to take 2 steps to help us. First, look for what the numbers have in common or the same. Look at all the numbers that I've given you. Do you recognize something that they have in common or something that remains the same? Also, look for what is changing within the number. Do you recognize something that is consistently changing each time we move to the next number? I noticed that these numbers remain the same. Each of the numbers I have listed have 6 groups of 100, and they each have 1 1. You'll notice that remains the same or constant throughout the pattern. I can tell that the number that is changing is my tens place value spot. Here I have 9 tens, 8 tens, 7 tens. These numbers are missing, and then I have 4 tens and 3 tens. It's your turn to try and figure out my pattern by placing in the 2 numbers that are missing in our sequence. You're going to begin by pressing pause. When you're ready to check your answer, then you can press the play button. Go ahead, press pause, write the 2 numbers that are missing from my sequence. When you're ready to check your answer, press play. Okay, let's take a look at what you came up with. Remember, the number that was changing was the number in the tens place value spot. It was decreasing, getting less or going down each time by 1. If we were to go from 671 and decrease the number of tens we have by 1, we would have 661. That's the next number in our pattern. Now we have 661. Let's remove another group of 10. Remember, our pattern is taking away one group of 10 each time. When we remove another group of 10, we have 651. How did you do? Were you able to complete this pattern? Let's read this pattern together. 691, 681, 671, 661, 651, 641, 631. Do you think you know which number would come next? If you said 621, you're correct. Let's try another one. Remember, look for what the numbers have in common or the same. Look for what is changing within the numbers. Looking at these numbers, I recognize that each of these numbers contains 7 tens and 1 1. 71 remains the same throughout my pattern. The number place value that is changing is the hundreds. I begin with 600. Here I have 500, then 400, missing numbers, and 100, then no hundreds at all. It's your turn to figure out which numbers are missing in my pattern. Go ahead and press pause. When you're ready to check your answer, press play. Let's take a look at how you did. Remember, 71 was staying consistent or the same. We're not changing our tens or our ones. The hundreds place value is what is changing. We started with 600s, decreased by 1 to have 500. Again, decreased by one group of 100 to 4. That means we would need to decrease again by one group of 100, which would give us 371. If we take away another group of 100, we would have 271. Let's check to see if this is right by taking away one group of 100 from 271. Yep, we have 171. We found the missing part of our number pattern. Were you able to get 371 and 271? Let's read our pattern together. Ready? 671, 571, 471, 371, 271, 171, 71. Great job! Let's look at one more pattern together. This pattern is a little longer, but I know we can do it. Remember, look for what the numbers have in common or the same. Look for what is changing within the numbers. I'm looking and I see 300s, 7 tens. 300s, 7 tens. 300s, 7 tens, all the way to, wait, this isn't 300s, 7 tens. This says 300s, 8 tens. That's strange. Every other number in this pattern had 3 groups of 100 and 7 groups of 10. Let me see what's changing and maybe this will make more sense. I'm looking at the one's place value and I notice that it is changing each time. I have 1 1 here, 2 1s, 3 1s, my missing numbers, 6 1s, 7 1s, 8 1s, 9 1s. Oh, I know! Remember, when I get 10 1s, I can trade it for one of the next largest unit, which is another 10. That's how I now have 300s and 8 groups of 10, because here I had 7 groups of 10 and 9 1s. I must have gotten another 1 to trade for another group of 10. I think I recognize the pattern now. It's your turn. I want you to press pause, fill in the missing numbers. When you're ready to check your answer, press play. Okay, let's take a look at this pattern. You may have noticed that we're increasing by 1 each time. So 373, when we increase by 1, would become 374. Add another 1 to 374, and we have 375. Let's check our pattern by saying it together. 371, 372, 373, 374, 375, 376, 377, 378, 379, 380. That makes sense. Our pattern is increasing by 1 1 each time. I understand now why these numbers did not remain the same. Once I reach 379, I now can make a new group of 10, 380. Woo! You did great today. I'm so excited for you to head back to Seesaw and get a chance to practice more patterns and do more activities on Seesaw. Since today is our last math video before Thanksgiving break, I wanted to tell you a very happy Thanksgiving. I hope you have a wonderful break. Head back to Seesaw, finish your activities, and enjoy your long break. Bye!